Let's take a look at evaluating a piecewise function. Let's see, we got f of x equals absolute value of x plus 3, 9x minus 1. And this is when x is less than or equal to 0. And this one is when x is greater than 0. And first thing we're going to find is f of negative 10. Remember, the number inside the parentheses, this negative 10, is our x. So they're telling us x is negative 10. I come up here and I'm going to compare it against my conditions. You see if negative 10 is less than or equal to 0 or negative 10 is greater than 0. Well, it's less than or equal to 0. So you're going to plug it into this piece. So put negative 10 in for the x. And negative 10 plus 3 gives us negative 7. And then the absolute value of negative 7 is positive 7. Our next one is f of 9. Now again, whatever number is inside the parentheses is your x, so they're telling you x is equal to 9. And I come up here and I compare it against my conditions. And it's like you plug it in for the x and see which one's true. Is 9 less than or equal to 0, or is 9 greater than 0? Well, 9 is greater than 0, so plug it into the second piece. So we got 9 times 9 minus 1 gives us 80, 1 minus 1, or 80. And f of 0. And again, the number inside the parentheses is our x, so x is equal to 0. I come up here, I see if 0 is less than or equal to 0, or 0 is greater than 0. Well, it's definitely not greater than. It's not less than, but it is equal to, so it goes in this first piece. So we'll plug it in for the x, and we got the absolute value of 0 plus 3. That gives us absolute value of 3, which is 3. Let's look at our other example. We got x squared minus 3x and 5x minus 1. And this is when x is less than or equal to 2. And this one is when x is greater than 2. And our first one is f of 8. And again, I look at the number inside the parentheses, which is your x. So telling you x is equal to 8. And we'll compare it against our conditions. Is 8 less than or equal to 2, or is 8 greater than 2? Well, 8 is greater than 2, so we'll plug it into our second piece. So we got 5 times 8 minus 1 gives us 40 minus 1, or 39. F of 2. Again, the number inside the parentheses is our x, so they're telling you here x is equal to 2. And I come up here, is 2 less than or equal to 2, or is 2 greater than 2? Well, it's not greater than, it's not less than, but it is equal to, so we'll plug it into our first piece. So wherever we have an x, we'll put in parentheses, and then we'll plug in that number. So we'll put 2 in there. Now 2 squared is 4, minus 3 times 2 is 6. 4 minus 6 gives us negative 2. And then f of negative 1. And again, the number inside the parentheses is our x, so it's telling us x is negative 1. I come up here, look at my conditions. Is negative 1 less than or equal to 2, or is negative 1 greater than 2? Well, it's less than 2, so it'll go to my first piece. So again, where my x is, I put in parentheses. And whatever's inside the parentheses here automatically goes in over here. Well, negative 1 squared is a positive 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 gives us a positive 3, and 1 plus 3 gives us 4. And those are our answers. Now, the important part on evaluating a piecewise function is for you to determine which piece to plug it into. If you plug it into both of them, I'll take every point off. That's not the goal. The goal of a piecewise function and evaluating it is to decide which piece to plug it into. So you only plug it into one of the pieces, like we did in these examples.